So is making that on-camera plea gonna help chances? You think, don't think he's making it into a public spectacle? What are your thoughts?
I was conflicted over this because, so I think all of us agree you always want reconciliation. We had Jeremy Renner here last week, who basically, I mean, he had a near death. He actually says he died briefly in this snowmobile accident. And he said at the end, all that you remember is the people you loved. Not money, not titles, not crown jewels. So I think everyone roots for there to be reconciliation. Watching this, I kind of felt like it was a Hail Mary. Like he's probably made outreach, not heard back. I can't speak to why he hasn't heard back or whatever, but I think that he must have thought, if I go out there on the BBC, perhaps that's a way to signal to my father, you know, in this period that you have left, I do want to talk and reopen those lines of communication. And I root for it. I think that he acted in the interest of his family in the immediate, not thinking he was giving up the rest of his family for the rest of his life.
Yeah, you know, this issue came out of a legal case because in 2020, he was denied security protection. The type of security protection someone in the born into the royal family requires, because we know what that kind of thing is. There's a lot of exposure, not only for him, but for the Duchess, Meghan, his wife, and his 2 children. And he wants to go and show them his home country. And so that was stripped away from him because he decided that he didn't want the official duties. And a point that he made during that interview, which I thought was striking, is that there are people that serve their country, but then leave public service, but always have that protection for the rest of their lives because they're different. This is a man who was born into a family, born into that duty, spent tours in Afghanistan and served his country for 35 years. I think that does warrant the security. That being said, another thing that he said was, while he wants reconciliation, he learned from Canada that there cannot be reconciliation without truth. It's truth and reconciliation. So yes, he wrote the book. Yes, he told his side of the story. We haven't heard from the other side, but I don't think he should be punished for telling his truth, because I do really believe there is no reconciliation without that.
Okay, so
in an electrifying display of steadfast support, Sunny Hostin championed Prince Harry on her platform. This wasn't a mere television spectacle, but a poignant moment that reverberated through the hearts of many, echoed in the thunderous applause from the audience. This was a time when the world was reeling from the news of Prince Harry's legal loss and the aftershocks of his explosive BBC interview. The royal drama was at its height, and yet, amidst the chaos, Sunny Hostin rose like a beacon, unwavering in her defense of the embattled prince. It became evident that this was more than just a casual chat on a daytime talk show. It was a powerful stand against the unjust scrutiny and relentless attacks that Prince Harry, Meghan, and their children continue to face. Sunny eloquently pointed out the elephant in the room. They didn't choose to be born into a royal family, and they certainly didn't sign up for the relentless barrage of criticism and threats that have become a part of their daily lives. She wasn't just speaking on behalf of the prince and his family. She was echoing the sentiments of countless individuals around the world who have been targeted, marginalized, and vilified for simply living their truth. In that moment, Sunny Hostin became the voice for the voiceless. But her defense didn't stop at just pointing out the unfairness of it all. She took it a step further by schooling her co-hosts who dared to insinuate that Prince Harry was in the wrong for his candid BBC interview. Sunny reminded them, and the millions tuning in, that what Harry talked about wasn't mere drama, but his truth. Sunny Hostin's stance was clear and unwavering. Prince Harry, Meghan, and their children deserve security, and anyone who thinks otherwise is simply wrong. This wasn't just a defense. It was a clarion call against prejudice, a rallying cry for fairness, and a testament to the power of speaking one's truth, even in the face of adversity. And for that, Sunny Hostin deserves nothing less than a standing ovation. Sunny Hostin did not hold back in calling out the unjust scrutiny that Harry and Meghan face. She was as clear as day, unafraid to face the harsh reality that's been swept under the rug for far too long. The unfair targeting of Harry and Meghan has been a topic of conversation, yet often brushed aside as part and parcel of being part of the royal family. But Sunny doesn't see it that way. She doesn't believe in the notion that one's birthright should dictate the level of scrutiny or threat one should endure. And she's right. After all, did Harry and Meghan choose to be born into the royal family? No, they didn't. Did they ask for the constant attacks and threats? Certainly not. It's easy for us to forget that beneath the glitz and glamour of royalty, Harry and Meghan are simply human beings who did not sign up for the barrage of criticism and threats they constantly face. They didn't choose this life, but they're doing their best to navigate it, all while maintaining their dignity and integrity. Sunny's argument is not just about defending Harry and Meghan, it's about defending the basic human right to live without fear. It's about highlighting the fact that no one, regardless of their status, should be subjected to constant attacks simply for living their truth. She calls out the trolls who hide behind their screens, spewing venom without a second thought for the impact of their words. She challenges the media who thrive on controversy and drama, often at the expense of people's lives. She stands up for those who are unable to stand up for themselves. Sunny's voice rang out loud and clear, condemning the injustice and standing up for the rights of Harry and Meghan. Because at the end of the day, what matters is not the crown one wears, but the character one upholds. And that's something we can all stand up and applaud for. Sunny Hostin was not about to let anyone downplay the gravity of Harry's revelations during his BBC interview. She was the mouthpiece of reason, the beacon of truth, amid a sea of criticism and conjecture. She refused to let the narrative be twisted into something it was not. And she was unyielding in her defense of Harry's choice to speak his truth to the world. She was not there to play the game of hearsay or to entertain the gossips. She was there to remind us all that Harry's words were not mere theatrics designed for shock value. No. They were a candid, heartfelt confession of a man who has been pushed to his limits, a man who simply wanted to clear the air and set the record straight. Sunny was quick to call out the co-hosts who dared to suggest that Harry was in the wrong for giving the interview. She reminded them, and by extension the world, that Harry was not stirring the pot of drama, but rather he was serving up a dish of hard, undeniable facts. He was not playing the victim, he was speaking up for himself and his family. She underscored her defense with a powerful statement: "Without truth, there is no reconciliation." These words resonated far and wide, reminding us all of the importance of honesty and transparency. They were a testament to her belief in the power of truth, and a call to action for all of us to strive for understanding and reconciliation. Sunny didn't just defend Harry, she defended the concept of truth itself. She stood up against those who would rather bury their heads in the sand than face the reality of the situation. She was a voice for those who believe in the importance of truth and the necessity of open dialogue. Sunny made it clear. Harry's interview was not about stirring drama, but about speaking his truth. And for that, she deserves all the applause and all the flowers. Because in a world where the truth is often obscured by drama, we need more voices like Sunny's, voices that will stand up for what is right and speak the truth, no matter the cost. Sunny Hostin's fearless support for Harry and Meghan was met with thunderous applause from the audience at. The audience, both in the studio and those watching from their living rooms, could not help but rally behind Sunny's impassioned defense. Her words, clear and unapologetic, cut through the sea of lazy narratives and weak excuses that have been spun around the royal couple. She stood firm, her voice a beacon of truth in a world all too often clouded by unfounded speculations. Now let's delve a bit deeper into this moment. You see, applause is more than just a polite response to a performance. It's a sign of approval, a symbol of agreement. When the audience had applauded Sunny Hostin, they were doing more than acknowledging her eloquence. They were aligning themselves with her stance, showing their support for Harry, Meghan, and their children. But it wasn't just the applause that made this moment so significant. It was the respect and admiration that the audience had for Sunny. She did not shy away from speaking the truth, even when it was uncomfortable. She did not back down from defending those who needed it most. Her integrity shone brightly, a beacon of hope amidst the turmoil. We must also remember that Sunny's voice was not just heard in the studio. It echoed out into the world, reaching millions of viewers. Her words, her support, and her integrity resonated with people far and wide. She showed us all what it means to stand up for what is right, even in the face of adversity. So let's take a moment to appreciate the power of Sunny Hostin's voice. Let's applaud her courage, her integrity, and her unwavering support for Harry and Meghan, because it's voices like hers that bring about change, that challenge the status quo, and that remind us all of the importance of speaking our truth. Sunny Hostin's voice echoed the truth, garnering not just applause but respect for her integrity and unwavering support for Prince Harry.